I have a very sad peach tree, so we're gonna do some sleuthing to figure out what's going on, and we're gonna try and fix it. This peach tree has been in this pot for 2 or 3 years now, and I mean, I can wiggle it. The soil does not budge, which tells me that it's probably super compacted, and I'm a little bit scared to pull it out and see what happens. I did check first to make sure that there were no peach tree borers anywhere. I checked the trunk, I checked all along the branches, and there were no signs of them, so that tells me that whatever is causing the leaves to turn yellow is probably happening under the soil. Okay. This is a dangerous game. Oh yeah. That was stuffed in the drainage hole. It's a mesh that's supposed to be like that in the bottom of the pot so that water can flow through, and it was all stuffed in there. All signs are pointing to root rot. Send help. Okay. Okay, Kelsie versus tree. She's in there. I mean, I can sweep all of this up after. Well, it's not as bad as I was expecting. The roots all look pretty good, but I think this ball is not saturated with water at all. So I think it just wasn't absorbing enough water. So we're gonna get all of this old dirt off and give it a nice fresh start. Like you're scratching a dog. Just kind of get your fingers in there and shake it all out without pulling on the roots. All right. What could have been happening is this could have just been too big of a pot for the size of the root ball. So every time we were watering, the water was just passing right by and not actually watering the tree. Because if you look in comparison, this pot that had our peach tree in it versus this pot that has another peach tree, this peach tree is doing great, but this pot is significantly smaller. So I'm thinking that could have been it. You know, sometimes you just never really know what you're gonna get until you take your plant out and look. So we're gonna pot this up in a fabric pack. Start with a little bit of soil in the bottom, and then we're gonna sprinkle in a little bit of this Nelson plant food transplant fertilizer, just to make sure that our tree doesn't unalive itself after repotting. Mix that all in, and it's only gonna be in this fabric pot for a couple of weeks before it goes in the ground. This is mostly just to give it a fresh start. So once it's in the ground, this variety is native to Texas, so once it's in the ground, it will do a lot better. When I first bought this peach tree, I wasn't getting varieties specific to containers. This variety behind me is specific to containers, so it's a lot happier being in a smaller space. This one has just never really been happy. It's not produced a single peach, so I'm hopeful that once it's in the ground, having that fresh start, we'll get lots of peaches from it. I'm just gonna fill this up so it'll take a second. When you are repotting something like a tree, you don't want to fill it up too high with soil. You don't want to cover too much of that trunk, because my grandpa always told me that you don't ever want to mess around the bark of the trunk, because that's what keeps the tree happy. So we're just going up to that first root right here, and then we're just wiggling it in to get all up in those roots, patting it down, and then we'll give it a good drink. But that one's good to go. All right, on to the next one.